Zest from DRX, Blackwiz from Northeption, and Crws from XERXIA. We will begin with pre-submitted questions first. Ardis, your team encountered a major setback after not being allowed to travel to Iceland. How does it feel to finally participate in an international event?
I think it feels good, to be honest. We should have went to Reykjavik, but we didn't, so I'm just happy to be here. It's not with a full team, which is a bit sad, but at least we got 4 of the members, so hopefully for champions we can have 5.
Blackwiz.
Yes.
What are the team's expectations with your group and your first Masters in Copenhagen?
チームの今回でのマスターズの目標、期待値などはありますか？
目標はとりあえずはプレーオフに進出することで、目指すはもちろん優勝です。
Our first expectation for the Masters is to proceed to playoffs. And of course, after that, to win the whole tournament.
Zest, your team's luck at international tournaments hasn't been great. What do you plan on doing differently to change the outcome this time?
네, 제스트 선수에게 질문 드리겠습니다. 지금까지 DRX가 글로벌 무대에서는 그렇게 기대는 미치지 못하는 성적을 거두고 있는데요. 이번에는 어떤 식으로 좀 다르게 준비를 했는지 질문 드리고 싶습니다.
사실 크게 다르게 준비한 건 없고요. 항상 하던 대로 저의 조직력을 토대로 개인 기량도 올리면서 연습했습니다.
So we didn't prepare anything differently this time. We're going to stick to what we're strong at. We prepared our set plays and we're going to play as a team and bring up the individual competency as well.
Crws, people were under the impression that you would retire after the last event, but you've managed to lead the team to their second consecutive Masters. What makes you continue partaking in competitive Valorant?
To be honest, it was something that happened that made me continue my career, but I would not like to talk about it. But to be honest, as a team, we have been comfortable with each other, so we already meshed well with each other, so it was nothing much. Just that if I were to retire was just to find a better addition to the team. That's all.
Ardis, what do you think of LATAM and how dangerous do you see the region?
I think they're individually very skilled. I think Loud are one of the best in the world. I think they just have crazy raw aim and skill. I think they're a little bit predictable, but on the day they can definitely hit shots and win the game. I think Loud's the best team in that region by a mile though. And the rest are I think the rest are behind, but I think Loud are just miles above everyone else in their region.
Thank you. This will conclude the pre-submitted portion of the press conference. Please use the Zoom hand raise feature if you would like to ask any of the players on stage a question. For this press conference, we ask that you ask the questions in English. We will begin with Declan from Deserto.
Yeah, this question is for Zest. I was just wondering if him or his team has had to deal with any mental fatigue or burnout this year or last year, and how have you guys kind of dealt with that if you have?
제스트 선수에게 질문 드리겠습니다. 이제 메타를 사실 선구적으로 많이 만들고 하고 있는데 사실 다른 팀들이 많이 공부를 하고 카운터를 치다 보니까 좀 파악이 되는 경향이 있어요. 그런 면에 있어서 어떻게 좀 준비를 하고 계신지 궁금합니다.
저희가 메타를 이끌어 나가려고 노력하는 것도 있어서 전략적인 부분에서 확실히 앞서 있다고는 생각하지만 상대 팀한테 카운터를 당했을 때 사실 지난 마스터즈에서 좀 힘들었었던 경향이 있었기 때문에 그 부분도 보완을 많이 하려고 노력을 했고요. 연습 방향도 그런 쪽으로 좀 많이 했었습니다.
So yes, we come up with new metas all the time, and the other teams kind of study us and counter our strats and meta. And that's, I think, what happened for Masters 1. So for this time, we're countering the counters, and we've been training to prepare those counters this time.
The next question will come from Rohan from esports.gg.
Hi, this question is for Blackwiz. During the Japanese challenges, obviously we saw the amazing crowd during the finals. How do you think, what are your thoughts on Valorant providing the boost to FPS esports in Japan?
.埼玉スーパーアリーナでのプレイオフについて、凄まじい観客の中でプレイされてたと思いますが、この日本の今のバロラントシーンの盛り上がりについて、どう思われますか？
前回のマスターズで見せたゼタの世界3位という記録があって、日本のシーンがとても盛り上がってると思ってます。埼玉スーパーアリーナですごい観客が来てくれて、それもなんていうんですかね、それもすごくいい、日本にとってすごくいい状況になっていると思います。
So during the last Masters in Reykjavik, Zeta was able to achieve such a great result for the Japanese scene of becoming third in the world, and this was sort of a big boost for the Japanese scene. And having the offline event at Saitama Super Arena with such a crowd was also another major event in the Japanese scene, which also had an impact on the scene.
Thank you. The next question will come from Ben from Juked.
Hi, this question comes from Ryan Central on the Juked app, and it's to Ardis. You previously proclaimed that you can walk on water in this game back in 2020. How would you say you've evolved as a player since then, and can we expect that ignition level of trash talking going into this Masters too?
I don't know. I still walk on water, to be fair. I don't know, I probably won't do the same trash talk, to be honest, because I think you burn a lot of bridges calling people shit. So I'm going to be respectful, tone down my opinion, and yeah, just see how it goes. I think my skill level has probably improved playing with Angel as well, but I don't know. I think this is going to be a big test for me individually and for the team to see how high we are in the rankings of the world.
The next question will come from Adi from VLR.gg.
Thank you. This question is for Blackwiz. So this is the first time that your team will be competing in Masters. Added on that pressure, the last Japan LCQ slot will be dependent if Northeption can finish 4th or higher, eclipsing Zeta in their points. Will this add more pressure onto your own performance, or do you see it organically as it goes throughout the tournament?
今回ノーセプションにとっては最初のマスターズでの試合になると思います。そしてそのプレッシャーに加えて LCQ で今回のマスターズで4位以上の成績を残さなければ LCQ への出場となるというような状況の中で、この状況がさらにプレッシャーを与えているのか、今どのような気持ちですか？
初めての世界大会で結果をしっかり残さないとチャンピオンズに行けないというのは本当にすごいプレッシャーだなとは感じてるんですけど、結果がどうであったとしても、僕らはあとは楽しむだけなので、試合が始まればプレッシャーは感じなくなるかなと思います。
So, as this is being our first international tournament, and yes, that because we have to prove some result, a major result to be able to proceed to champions, yes, we do feel a lot of pressure. But we are also telling ourselves that we want to have as much fun as possible. And I believe that once the game starts, then we will be able to focus on the game and forget about the pressure.
All right, thank you for your answer.
The next question will come from Adarsh from Sportskita.
Yeah, my questions to Blackwiz from Northeption. So your DRX has been unbeaten since their last Masters appearance, and they have a history of winning their opening match in the Masters. So what are your thoughts on facing them for your opening match of the tournament?
DRX は、今までの成績から見ても無敗の、無敵の DRX というような印象があり、特に、オープニングの試合においては、負けたことがないというようなところで、この DRX 戦に対して、どのような気持ちで臨んでいますか？
僕個人としては敵がどこのチームであれ全部、格上というか、強いチームなので、どこが来たとしても僕の中ではあんまり変わらない気持ちで、全てのチームと対戦するにあたっても僕はワクワクが勝っているので、DRX だから萎縮してしまうとかっていうのはないです。
So personally, I feel that any team that we face in this tournament is going to be more experienced than our very great teams that are here. So facing all teams, no matter who we face against, whether that's DRX or anybody else, I would feel super excited to be able to gain this experience. So it's not like we have anything in particular for facing against DRX.
The next question will come from George Geddes from .esports.
Hello, yes, my question is to Ardis. How are we, lad? How are you doing?
How are we?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We mainly have a question here because we're quite curious about who's actually going to be playing for FBX. Obviously, there's been a lot of issues surrounding like Angel and then Xiao and Sugetsu, etc. Can you tell us who your five-man lineup is actually going to be at this tournament?
Our five-man lineup for groups will be me, Angel, Xiao, Zipan, and Sida, the sub. But I think Sugetsu might be able to get his visa in time for the playoffs. So we're hoping that he can get his visa approved by then. It could happen beforehand, could happen later, but hopefully going into the playoffs, we will have our full roster available. But for groups, we'll play with one standing.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
The next question will come from Brandon from Run It Back.
Thank you. This is for Zest. From the Vision Striker days to now it's DRX, you guys obviously have dominated the Korean scene. But now you come back to another international land with familiar faces like Optic and Fnatic who you faced before. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on what you guys have done to improve from those past lands and what it's going to take to finally get, a top two, maybe even win the whole thing.
네, 제스 선수에게 질문 드리겠습니다. 비전 스트라이커스 시절 때부터 DRX 때까지 굉장히 강한 모습을 계속 보여주고 계신데요. 글로벌 이벤트에 이번에 나와서도 이제 익숙한 팀들인 옵틱이라던가 푸나틱을 만나게 되었습니다. 이제 다시 만난 상대들이기도 한데요. 그들을 상대하기 위해서 어떤 다르게 준비한 게 있는지, 그리고 이제 위로 올라가기 위해서 혹은 우승하기 위해서 좀 이런 예전의 경험들을 어떻게 살릴 예정인지 궁금합니다.
저희가 마스터즈 1 때 정말 많은 경험들을 했었다고 생각하기 때문에 그때 실수를 토대로 고쳐 나가려고 연습을 많이 했었고요. 저희는 그때 당시에도 옵틱이나 푸나틱도 이길 수 있었다고 생각하기 때문에 크게 다른 부분을 연습했다기보다는 저희가 하던 대로 실수만 줄여 나갔으면 그 팀들도 이겼을 수 있다고 생각해서 이번에도 그 경험들을 토대로 하던 대로만 하면은 이길 수 있지 않을까 싶습니다.
So obviously we got a lot of experiences from Masters 1 and we learned a lot from our mistakes that we made, and I think it's about making at least mistakes as we play, because I think we were competent enough to defeat any teams we played in Masters 1. So we're going to focus on reducing those mistakes and just do what we do best and play as a team.
The next question will come from Armando Montes.
Hi, my question is for Blackwood from Northeption. You think are the underdog in this tournament after beating Zeta in Japanese? region, and you think the team can surpass what did them in the last Masters?
ブラックイー選手への質問です。今回ゼータを倒して、ここのマスターズに来たと思いますが、ゼータの前回の、成績を超えるような活躍が今回できると思いますか？
世界大会を経験したゼタを決勝戦で倒すことができたので、前回の大会よりもいい結果が出せるんじゃないかなって僕らは思ってます。
So being able to defeat Zeta Division in the regional finals, and Zeta Division being obviously being third in the world, and they were very internationally experienced, we feel that we have a very good chance in competing in this tournament.
Thanks for
The
the
next
answer.
question will come from Francisco Carico.
Hi, my question is for Ardis. Ardis, how would you describe the play style of the other teams in your group, and is there a specific team that you are looking forward to facing? Thank you.
The playstyle in our groups, I haven't watched too much of it, but I think I'd say it's predictable. And like most of them play, like if you've watched a few of the games, you know how they play. So I'd say it's a bit predictable, but maybe they'll change, probably will. But and who they want to face, I think I want to face Optic, just because normally we scrim them in like the past Masters or Champions, so that you get a little bit of trash talk from them in the scrims. So I guess it'll be better now playing them in the actual official. So hopefully we make it to be make it through, so we can play them.
We'll take the next question from Adi from VLR.gg.
Thank you. This question is for Crws, XERXIA. So this is the second time that XERXIA is seeded into groups after an early exit in Reykjavik. Now facing against a new opponent in Fantas Phoenix, have the team made any specific changes from what you've learned so far during stage 2?
We've changed a lot, like how we play and whatsoever. But then I'm just glad that we're playing a different team now. So it's going to be a better experience for us, and we're going to get more experience because, like I said, we've only played like Optic, I think, and it's better to play against a different team in an international land, so we'll get more experience and maybe it'll be more fun.
All right, thank you for the answer.
We'll take the next question from Lissandro.
My question is for Blackwiz. Which are the team's expectations with your group and in your first Masters in Copenhagen?
ブラックイー選手にです。チームの、このマスターズでの、目標を教えてください。
とりあえずはプレーオフに出て有観客の前でプレーすることです。
Our first goal for this tournament is to proceed to the playoffs so we can play in front of the crowd.
And the final question of this press conference will come from Ben from Juked.
This question is for Zest. Do you think that the Korean region is going to be able to dominate in Valorant like they have in other esports? And why do you think that maybe that hasn't happened as quick as maybe some people originally would have thought? And that's from Dinosaur Cola.
네, 제스 선수에게 질문 드리겠습니다. 지금 한국이 사실 e스포츠 강국으로 굉장히 잘 알려져 있고, 그리고 더 이제 강력한 지역으로 떠오르기를 기대하는 분들이 많은데요. 사실 발로란트 씬에서는 아직은, 그리고 혹은 FPS 씬에서는 조금 더딘 경향이 있습니다. 어떤 부분이 그런 더딤을 유발하는지, 혹은 그리고 어떤 면들이 기대되는지 좀 궁금합니다.
어떠한 부분도 그런 걸 유발하진 않는다 생각하고요. 이번 마스터즈나 챔피언스에서 보여드리겠습니다.
I don't think anything particular is stopping Korea to be one of the dominant regions, and we'll show the world how we do at Masters and Champions.
Thank you. This concludes the second press conference. Please stand by for the final and third press conference, which will begin shortly.